Hello, hello, and welcome. Today I'm coming to you with the bonus class for February. And I did a kit because of the kit promotion I'm doing for this month, donating my profits from any kits I sell to the Susan G. Komen breast cancer research. This video will be a little different than most of them because the coloring, I have pre-colored the majority of each one we're going to do today. And I probably will not finish assembling, but you guys, and I'll step through everything how I did it, but they're going to be very simple when it comes down to what you do after you're done coloring. Now, I really like this set, and I know it's different for everybody as to what we all like. Yes, it does take a while to do all the coloring in it, but it's kind of a to me, it's kind of therapeutic in a way. I mean, you can just sit and color, especially if you're not feeling very creative. Just pick one of these pages and, pick a couple colors and just start. It's really easy to use the watercolor pencils with the water painters. So in the kit, it does give you some samples. Now, it is not going to tell you how to color each one of these. So there's not a sample of each one. So you can kind of figure that out, I guess, as you go. Like I see now, I did this one. I'm assuming these are the leaves. I did them green, but as I see this sample here, which I didn't even look at. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. See, they did very fancy coloring in steps and added the yellows and oranges and then went back and added some greens, which you could do that. I did not go quite that fancy with my coloring. And then here it shows you all the different pictures, and there's 2 of each in here, and I'll go through them all. And it also tells you on the back what comes with it. So you get the pack of all the watercolor pages. You get a water painter, and then you get these 8 watercolor pencils that come with it. Now, I also had extra add-ons if you wanted to add on the other packs of the pencils, and the only color that I did pull in from one of those, and I was really trying to only use what was in the kit just in case people didn't have any of the extra, but I did pull in the Calypso Coral, which is, excuse me, which is from the watercolor pencil pack. This is number 1. I have the old pack. So Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point, and Rich Raspberry are no longer colors we have. So the new pack of this one has a blue, fresh freesia, and pecan pie in it. But I didn't order a new one yet. But this had Calypso Coral, so I did pull that out. If I was doing some of these and wasn't doing it for like the video today, I would have probably brought in some more like old olive and maybe a few other colors. But I'll be honest, I feel like what I came up with using just the colors that came with it and then the Calypso Coral, you can still make it all work. So here's the ones that I have not used. So, and some of these, I'm not sure what kind of flower they are. And I did do a Facebook Live using one of them one day too, and I went through all of this. And again, I'm not sure what every color is out here, or every flower is, but I knew most of them. These clearly blueberries, which I didn't do this one yet. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. I was guessing it might be a hydrangea, but I honestly don't know on that particular one. So there's 2 of those. This is the leaf one, which I'm looking forward to kind of coloring with that one. I think that will be kind of cool to do a whole bunch of different greens, lights and darks. I'm not exactly sure what this one is. And there's 2 of that one still left. Clearly, fall leaves and acorn. So you have a couple seasonal ones, which is nice. We have the fall one, and then we have poinsettia. And then you have a couple extra pages, I think 2, in the back that you could stamp with stays on and do the watercolor stuff. If you wanted to, you could stamp something else here with this watercolor paper. Now, this watercolor paper is a little different than our normal watercolor paper. It's a little bit smoother, and it's not as much texture to it like our other watercolor paper packs that we can buy. Okay, so here's the one I did on a Facebook Live if you didn't see it. one I did ahead of time, and then the one I did the day of, and I don't remember which one is which. Oh, this one probably was the one the day of, because I ended up going back and flicking it, because I thought that added some nice texture to the background. Simple, easy, but I thought it turned out great. Okay, so that's the one I did for a Facebook Live. Here's our first project. And like I said, I'm gonna show you how I did my coloring, and then each one of these you will have to trim down, because these are actually, here's the one we're gonna start with. They're 4.5 by 6. And I'll go through how we're gonna trim each one a little bit different. Okay, so here's the first card, and you have everything here that you can stamp your phrase, and you have the little extras, and then you have bling. And each one, the bling, I pulled from bling that I had. It's not all the same. I pulled what kind of would coordinate with what I had going on here. Okay, so the colors I used for all of these that we're going to do today: Berry Burst, Early Espresso, Daffodil Delight, Garden Green, Fleur de Flamingo. I have pumpkin pie out, but I'm not sure I used it. And then Calypso Coral. So on this particular peony here, what I did, and this is how I do mine. I take my water painter and I just get my brush wet, and I'm using my glass mat. If you don't have the glass mat, you can use some kind of craft, one of those brownish craft mats that they used to sell years ago, or even wax paper, or a block. You could use a block as your palette also. That works really well. So then what I do, and I'm going to pull in the Fleur de Flamingo and the Calypso Coral. Well, actually, we'll start with the leaf. I left one leaf here. Now, there's no right or wrong way on how to do the coloring. And it's really all about pressure, light and dark is what I have figured out. And I know some people are very detailed. I am not. I use the lines that the artist has created here, and I go a little bit heavier there, and then I'll come back and I do it a little bit lighter pressure over the whole thing, okay? So when you first do this step, it does not look the greatest necessarily. And I see I missed a spot over here, so I'm going to kind of go back over that just a little bit, and then we'll add some more water with the water painter and change that one up a little bit. Okay, so then here's our water painter. Now, I tend to work, I don't know, from the bottom to the top. I don't know what you want to call it, but I tend to pull all my color coming in this direction. You can do it any way you want, whatever you're comfortable doing. And again, I'm not squirting water onto the surface here. I'm just getting the tip of my brush wet. And you don't want it soaking wet. You just want it wet enough that you're going to spread this color out. And you want it to look a little different. You want lighter, darker areas. We all know leaves or flowers, they're not all the same color or perfect. Okay, so there's our leaf. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit more color, my recommendation is you would let that dry if you were going to add it, coloring it like this. But let's say you wanted to make it a little bit darker. So we're going to go up here and play with this one a little bit. You can take your water painter, and the brush is wet, and I'm just going to color it onto the tip of the watercolor pencil, and then I'm going to just paint some on right here. And you see how that paints on? So we can add color that way also. Now that leaf is a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this other outside one a little bit darker also. And then color a little bit more in there. And there you go. I like that a little bit better. Okay, I always have a paper towel right here, because what I'm going to do is like clean this off just a little bit. And now we're done with the green. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the Fleur de Flamingo, and you can use any kind of pencil sharpener. When you first get the pack, Like, I haven't used these two colors. They are sharp, and I personally like them a little bit sharper. Some people don't. Some people like them when they get a little bit dull. I personally like mine sharper, like the Daffodil Delight. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to color, and I'm pressing harder here just because I want that center to be a little bit darker. You don't have to. So there's that. And now what I'm going to do with Calypso Coral is I'm going to go along to all these little areas with the detailed lines that they have created here. And I'm not going over every single one of them. And I'm doing it rather quickly. See, I missed this when I was coloring before. Now I'm also going to bring in, that was Calypso Coral. I'm going to bring in some of the Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to do a little bit, and I'm lightly coloring the background area after where we've put the Calypso Coral. Okay, and as you see, this one, I had more of the Calypso Coral, less of the Flirty Flamingo. This one seems like it has more of the Flirty Flamingo there. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my water painter. And we're going to first do that little center area. I did it in yellow. You could do any color. Okay, then I start and I pull up towards me. I don't know why I do it that way. I feel comfortable doing it that way, I guess. I think because then I know I'm probably not going to go outside of the lines if I'm going this direction, but who knows. And we'll get that little area that I added a little bit more to. And you can see where we've got more of the Calypso Coral. It'll end up to be a little bit darker, which is what we're looking for. Now, I know there's other demonstrators out there that have done some videos that are much more detailed about their coloring than I am, but I feel like they still turned out great, and we didn't have to spend, you know, hours on each card. Okay, so here's kind of what we got going on. Now, I'm going to bring in the Calypso Coral here, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to add some more color here in some of these areas. Just a little bit. Now, if you get too close to like the center there where we've got that yellow, you will spread a little bit of yellow, but that's okay. It just picks up a little bit more color. I don't really feel like it's a problem necessarily. Okay, so there's this one. And like I said, they both look different. They're never going to look exactly the same. Okay, let me clean this a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you. So this one here, I cut it down to, and all of these are in the directions on the PDF, but I cut this one down to 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah. But because we have this line here, the way I did it is you want to take a little bit off all the way around. So right now it's 4 1/2. So I took 1/4 off here and 1/4 off here. And then it's actually 6, so 5 1/4. So we're going to go, and you can take 4 by 5 1/4. So we want to take 3/4 off. So what I did is I started with 1/4 here. And 1/4 at the top. I know this is a little repetitive as to the cutting, but and then we want to take another 1/4 off. So you want to take an 1/8 off of each. But if you notice down here, we're getting pretty close. So I ended up taking the rest off the top area on this particular card. Most of them are not like this. This one was a little different. And we got right there. And we're right at the tip. Okay? So we should be at 4 by 5 1/4. Perfect. So that's how you'll cut this one down. Now, the other thing I did on this particular one is I did a little bit of the flicking with the black Stampin' Write marker. And you can use the Stampin' Blends, either one work. I find the flicking works a little bit better with the Stampin' Write markers versus the Stampin' Blends. Some people, I noticed on some of the videos that I saw using this, they colored the background of it too. I didn't do that on any of them, but you certainly could. So if you're really into the coloring, you know, you can color more. Okay, we're just flicking a little bit here, and that's it. Then we would take this. I'll bring in the card pieces for this particular one. I'm probably not going to stamp the phrases. We're going to attach this to here. And it might, because you've added a little bit of water, you're going to want to pay attention to how much adhesive you put on here. I think I'll use my Stampin' Seal Plus. Because it could still be, I mean, you shouldn't be soaking it. But you still have altered it a little bit with water. So keep that in mind. Then this will go here. Just like that. And then you would put this here. Just like that. Okay? So this would be the first one. I'm not going to do the phrase and stuff. I know you guys know how to do that. You can stamp whatever phrase you want. I didn't even get them out. I forgot about it. I was more concentrating more on my coloring I was going to be doing. And this piece has got the narrow 1/8 inch going around it here. Okay. And then I didn't do anything on the insides of these, just because the way most of them trim down. There are a couple where you could end up with a piece that you could put in the inside, and I'll show you as we go, but it's okay. You don't always have to have something on the inside. Okay. Then we would just stamp, and your packet will have a little tiny, bling that I found that I thought coordinated quite well with it. I don't even remember what pack that's from, but it'll tell you in the directions too. Okay, so there's the first one. I'm going to set that aside. And then here is the second one I did. And I want to say this is Nasturtium is what I figured this was. And I did it in yellows and greens, and I actually did... Yeah, this is it. I did this one a little bit different. I went a little darker here. These are lighter. Went darker on my leaves. You know, this one I was adding some yellow along with the leaves. I didn't here. I kind of kept it all very much the green tones, but you can do it any way you want. So again, we're going to do the same thing and just kind of in the darker shades, or with heavier pressure, I should say. I'm just highlighting those veins of the leaves, and I'm not being careful about it. I'm just kind of willy-nilly kind of doing it here. And I think that's a leaf. We'll go with it as a leaf. And then don't forget your stems here. And we'll come down with this one here. Oh, I missed some yellow there. It's funny how you go back and you see what you missed. It happens. Okay, then I'm going to just lightly color. And you don't have to do this step. You could just start painting and then see where you are with your color, because once you have all the some color put down, it will, with the water painter, it'll drag the color all wherever you want it to go. Wherever you put that brush is where it goes. Okay. Oh, missed that little guy. All right. Again, make sure our brush is wet, so I'm putting some water over here. And I'm pulling from the bottom up to the center, I guess you could say. Now this one was nice because you have an area where clearly you're going to put some kind of phrase. So, and it was a little bit easier to trim this one down. You didn't have to. I just see some areas I missed, so I'm just kind of going back since I have some stuff on my brush. Okay. I'm trying to color as fast as I can right now because I don't want you guys to get bored with all the coloring, but I wanted to make sure I showed you exactly what you needed to be doing, or at least some suggestions. Not necessarily exactly, because you could, like I said, if you have all the colors, I would definitely use more of the colors, but I was trying to keep it with what comes in the pack. Okay, so there's all our greens. A little bit darker, that's okay. And again, if you wanted, you could pick some up off of here and color some more. But I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to clean the green off a little bit. And then really quick, so I don't forget, I am going to color this. So I don't forget that little... Okay, because I'm not going to do any more yellow on here. I think I'll do the rest in the Calypso Coral. Oh, maybe I'll do this little guy popping up right here. Why not? I mean, you can... Oh, I missed one leaf. You can mix it up any way you want. Okay, there's that. And now let's go ahead and color these. And again, I'm putting more pressure as I'm kind of highlighting that stuff. And then I'm just going to go back and add some color there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Here, and then go back and color lightly. Just like this. And then, like I said, this one's easy to trim down. Okay, so let me do this green leaf that we forgot. Clean the brush then. And then let's do this little guy here that we decided to do in yellow. And yeah, I didn't do the stem there in the green, but that's okay. And then I'm not going to worry so much because that's yellow coming in here. I'll be okay. And then I'm just bringing from the center out. Like I said, just how I do it. Not necessarily a right or wrong, but when I started, I don't know, I felt comfortable doing it like that, starting at the center and coming out. Now, if you feel like the color isn't moving like you want, your brush is probably not wet enough, but you don't want it soaking. If you feel like you're getting too much water on here, just grab your paper towel and you can dab it up. But like, I am not squeezing water on my project. I'm squeezing it over here on the side and then coloring from there. Okay, so let's do this one. And let's do this last one, and then I think we got them all on here. I thought they turned out great, honestly. And like I said, I really didn't hardly look at the directions to see how detailed they did. Some of them, the ones they, or the couple they do show. And you can get very detailed with this. Because you could take these and put them in little frames if you wanted to and hang them somewhere. They don't have to be a card. Okay, so there we go. I think I got them all. That green one looks like I didn't color it with the water painter, but I'm pretty sure I did. All right, I think I got everything here. These last two are a little bit lighter than what I did there, so I probably picked up a little bit of the off the watercolor pencil and went back and added some. But I think it's fine. And then again, you're going to cut this one down to 3 3/4 by 5. It's not going to matter as much where you cut off here because you're going to cover up that little circle anyway with, here's our layers. So you're going to cut, you already have circles punched. This will go here and this will go here. And you have a piece of ribbon in yours that has, that you can deconstruct. All you got to do is pull the edge. It's one of those that deconstructs really easy. I already had some here and that's all I put behind there. And then you have a couple little bling. I found some garden green that I thought coordinated quite well out of the earth tones set, but I thought that one coordinated quite well with this. So that's all you have to do to this particular one. Okay. Now we shall move on to number 3, which is our poppies. And of course, poppies can be red, orange. There's so many different colors poppies can be. And I know some people go look them up and like look at what colors things are. I didn't do that. I just go by what I know what color they are. Okay, so here's how much I've already done on this one. Looks like I forgot to do water painter on that one. Let's get some water out here. And what I'm first going to do is bring in the green. I only have a couple areas that have the leaves left. And then this one over here. Okay, I think that's it for that. So let's just go ahead and color these. And again, I'm just adding a little bit of water on, or just making sure my brush is wet. And there's that one. Okay, then we'll come over here and get this one. I think this is a great kit to give as a gift to somebody too. I'm gonna, and actually this one now is on the last chance list. They have since moved it to the last chance list. Okay, this top here I did yellow. And then this is going to be yellow inside here. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to do the Calypso Coral here. I did one yellow. So I'll do, actually, how about if I do this one over here, yellow? Let's add another yellow. I'm going to do this one. I don't know why I did one yellow. And you could have one, but I'm going to go ahead and do 3. So let's go. I forgot a couple stems here in our green. And this one. So I'll go back and color those, but let me go ahead and I'll do this one yellow. Okay, so let me just do those stems I missed really quick. And then I'll do this. And bring this one in. And then let's do this one over here. And again, if you wanted it darker, you can take the tip of the water painter and paint it onto the watercolor pencil and pick up more ink that way. Okay, so there's those. So now let's go ahead and do some of this here. Adding the Calypso Coral. And you could do real red. You could combine real red with this, I think, too. Because poppies are red. Okay. So then we're going to come in. I still had yellow on there. Don't forget to clean your brush. See, I got a puddle of yellow there, so I'm going to have to be careful. It's okay. It's not going to bother me any that there was a little bit of yellow there. Because if I want that one a little bit darker without the yellow showing up, I would just... But you can't hardly see it now. Once you mix it all together, it's fine. Okay. And I am doing this quicker than I did when I first colored. I got outside the lines there. But that's okay. I was being much more careful when I did my first samples. And it took me, I don't know, a couple hours to do the 4 cards I did. But like I said, I was being slow about it and a little more careful than I am right now. Now, if you bought this kit and you try one and you're like, I don't like doing the watercoloring, not my thing, that's okay. You could color these. I haven't done it, but I don't know why you couldn't with the Stampin' Blends or the Stampin' Write markers. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't. You can color with on this paper with any of those if you don't want to do the watercoloring. Like I said, I didn't try it, but I don't know why it wouldn't work. Okay, so there's that one. And then again, this one. And as you can see, this one is much darker. I went, and I wonder if I could have added some pumpkin pie. I didn't have it in my directions, but it sure does look a lot darker. So I could have. So you could add other colors. And again, this one, 3 3/4 by 5, you're going to trim it down. And you would end up with a strip, you know, off of one of these sides that you could put on the inside like I did here. So here's, I cut one in half, or it's not directly in half. And then there's what I put on the inside of this one. Okay. So there's that one. And then you'll add the baker's twine around. You have some of that in here. And again, I just did thank you there. And you've got a bling that you can add to it. Okay, so there's that one. Now, here is, with project number 4, you're actually going to get 2 cards out of it because I cut it down different. So you're going to get that one. I cut it in half. And you'll get this one. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a magnolia. And I honestly don't know what color magnolias are. I think they're like a purplish color. They could be a lighter pink. But I went purple on this one. Or the berry burst, I should say. So here's what I've already done. Now I took, because it's a tree, not a bush, I colored the stems with the early espresso. My sister-in-law, Connie, has, or she did have a magnolia tree in her yard. I'm pretty sure she still has it there. And it's always very pretty when I've seen it. Whoops, wrong color. So then the little tiny leaves, which they are tiny, some of them are very small. I just went and colored a little bit of the green, and then we'll go back with the water painter. Then with the berry burst, again, darker than lighter. And then you can go back and add the water to it. Okay, so there's that one. Let's get this little guy here. Missed this little guy. And then do a little bit here. You see, I'm not being careful how I'm first adding some color down. I'm just kind of adding it. And then, in a way, I guess I'm kind of scribbling because I'm not being careful about how I'm coloring with this. Because I know we're going to go back and, add water to fix it all. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the little leaves first. Yeah, I went over the brown after I was in the green. That's okay. I don't even remember which ones we all colored. Some of them I can tell, like these. And then I don't have a whole lot of green on there, so I'm not going to worry too much about cleaning it on the paper towel to come back into the brown, because I know we colored that one, I think. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the flowers. Now, I'm not normally a purplish kind of person color-wise, but I thought these turned out really cute. I'm happy with the color choice I made here. And like I said, they could be a little bit pinker, I think. I don't know. My theory with stamping is anything goes for anything. I've stamped leaves and blues and all kinds of colors. Don't always have to be the traditional color palette. Like if you do the blueberry one, you could have blueberries that clearly are blue, but sometimes before they're ripe, they can be a purplish color. Or if they're really dark ones, they can end up to be a little bit more on that purple side versus the blue. So keep that in mind. I just didn't do that one yet. in the leaf one. I want to do the leaf one. I want to use several greens with that one. I think it'll be very pretty. Okay. And then we have one more left. Okay. And again, this one you'll cut in half. And I'll show you here in just a minute exactly how I did this one. Because you have all the layers to make both of these in there. I included everything. So you actually get to make 5 cards, or you have the supplies to make 5 cards. I mean, you'll have enough kits here, watercolor kits, to make, gosh, I forgot how many are in here. I'll have to look. What does it say? 24. So you can technically make 24, at least 24. Like this one, we've made an extra, so that would actually be 26 if you did both of them the same way on this particular one. And I think there's a couple others, like the leaf one. You could definitely cut that one down or cut it in half if you wanted to. Okay. Yeah, I got out of my line a little bit in a couple places, but I don't think anybody will ever notice it on a card. Okay, so that would be the last of the coloring here. And on this particular one, what I did is I cut it in half this way because you have 6 inches here. So I cut this in half. So I went to the 3. Cut that here. So then there's that one. And now this one is the same. It's 3 inches, but then what you're going to do is you're going to cut these strips. The 2 on the, I want to say they're all different. The 2 on the end are 1 1/4, 1 1/4, and then the one in the middle is 1 3/4. And that one I popped up with dimensionals. Just so you can see it a little bit there. I popped that one up with dimensionals. So what I did, so you know how to do it, I went, so it goes this direction. So you're going to go to the 1 1/4 and cut that one. And then I flipped it around and I went to the 1 1/4. Now, if you like to use this end to cut with, you could go 1 1/4 from this direction. I want to make sure where I'm at now. I'm just used to, for the most part, coming over here. I do cut 1 inch sometimes on the other direction, but okay. So here's all 3 of these, and it'll go together just, let's get this out of the way. There's our center, that one, that one. And you would layer it onto your black. And again, the center one, I popped up with dimensionals. And then you'll just stamp your phrase and there's you got a couple little blingity blings that you can add to it. Okay. So there's all the projects. So there's project 4 that you actually get 2 of. There's 3, number 2, and then here's number 1 that I did finish except for the phrase. I didn't do that part, which I'll go back and finish all of these. And of course you could do the flicking on other ones if you wanted to, like we did on the, and here's of course the sunflower one too, which I thought turned out really cute. I like the sunflower one. And this phrase here, I just cut it out with scissors. Cut it out on, hand cut it, fussy cut it out. All right. Well, thank you so much for signing up for the bonus class. I'm excited about what I'm going to bring to you for next month's bonus class because I picked out a stamp set that I hadn't used yet. that I've had for a while. So I'm excited for the next one too. But let me know if you have any questions about any of this, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Just pretty much start coloring. Give it a try. It's, like I said, very therapeutic to just sit down, and especially if you're not feeling creative, but yet you want to be creative, because you can just pick some colors and start putting it down there. All right, I will see you guys again next month. Bye, guys.